I've always been a planner. Ask anyone who knows me. Owen Fletcher doesn't leave things to chance. At 38, I'm a senior associate at Greystone and Associates, specializing in corporate tax law. It's not glamorous work, but it pays well, and it suits my methodical nature. Every contract reviewed twice, every loophole considered, every contingency mapped out. That's how I approached everything, including buying this house 7 years ago. 4 bedrooms, 3 baths, granite countertops, and a mortgage I could afford even if I lost my job tomorrow. I put down 30% to avoid PMI and negotiated the seller down $8,000. Smart moves, careful moves. So when I met Simone Laurent at the Meridian Gallery 6 years ago, standing in front of a Jackson Pollock reproduction with a glass of cheap wine, I was immediately drawn to everything I wasn't. She was spontaneous where I was calculated, artistic where I was logical, passionate where I was practical. Her laugh filled the entire room. Her dark hair caught the gallery lighting like silk. When she turned to me and said something that would change my life. "This painting looks like my life, beautiful chaos," she said with a smile that lit up the room. I knew I was in trouble. Our courtship lasted exactly 13 months. Simone worked at the gallery then, curating small exhibitions and managing sales. She had opinions about everything: wine, politics, the proper way to fold fitted sheets. She made me try Ethiopian food, dragged me to poetry readings, convinced me to take salsa dancing lessons where I embarrassed myself weekly for 3 months. But God, she made me feel alive in ways I'd forgotten were possible. The proposal was romantic but practical. Dinner at Le Bernardin, ring hidden in the dessert course, down on one knee between the table and the wine cart. She said yes through tears, kissing me so hard she knocked over her water glass. But 3 weeks later, when I brought up the prenuptial agreement, the romance died fast. "You want me to sign what?" Simone asked, sitting at our kitchen table with the contract spread between us like a crime scene. "It's just protection, baby, for both of us," I replied, keeping my voice calm and reasonable. "Look at the terms, they're fair." She read aloud, her voice getting sharper with each clause. "The property at 847 Maple Ridge Drive, purchased by Owen Fletcher prior to marriage, shall remain separate property in perpetuity. All marital assets acquired during marriage shall be divided equally upon dissolution. However, proven adultery by either party voids all claims to marital property for the offending spouse." Simone looked up at me like I'd slapped her. "You think I'm going to cheat on you?" she demanded. "I think people change. I think love doesn't always last. I think being smart now prevents being stupid later," I answered. "This is romantic as a root canal, Owen," she shot back. "Romance doesn't pay mortgage when marriages fall apart," I countered. She stared at the papers for a long time. Finally, reluctantly, she signed. We married 4 months later in her parents' backyard in Connecticut. Small ceremony, good food, open bar. Her father pulled me aside during the reception. "You take care of my little girl, son. She's got a big heart," he said with genuine warmth. "I will, sir, I promise," I replied sincerely. I meant it then. The first 2 years were golden. Simone kept working at the gallery while I made junior associate. We traveled Italy, Costa Rica, a long weekend in Savannah. We hosted dinner parties where she'd cook elaborate meals and I'd bore everyone with tax law anecdotes. She laughed at my jokes. I supported her art appreciation obsession. We were partners. Then Simone quit the gallery. "I want to pursue my creativity full-time," she announced over breakfast one Tuesday morning. "The gallery is stifling me. I need to explore my artistic vision." I was supportive, encouraging. "What kind of art are you thinking?" I asked. "Photography, maybe, or pottery, or painting. I need to experiment, find my voice," she replied with the enthusiasm I'd fallen in love with. I funded everything. A Canon 5D Mark IV with professional lenses, $4,200. A pottery wheel and kiln for the basement, $3,800. Oil paints, easels, canvases, brushes, another $1,500. I converted our spare bedroom into a studio, complete with proper lighting and ventilation. I was investing in our future and her happiness. That was 4 years ago. 4 years of Simone finding herself, while I found myself working longer hours to compensate for her lost income. 4 years of art supplies gathering dust while shopping bags multiplied. 4 years of pottery classes that lasted 3 weeks, photography workshops that bored her after one session, painting tutorials abandoned when she realized talent required practice. What did she produce in 4 years of artistic exploration? Nothing, no portfolio, no exhibitions, no finished project. Just receipts from Nordstrom, spa appointments she needed for creative inspiration, and an increasingly entitled attitude about money she hadn't earned. I told myself it was a phase. Marriage has seasons, right? She was figuring things out. She'd find her passion eventually. I was building our foundation while she explored her dreams. That's what partnerships were about: balance, support, patience. I was an idiot. The wake-up call came 3 weeks ago on a Thursday afternoon. I was in my office reviewing a particularly dense acquisition contract when my phone rang. Unknown number. I almost sent it to voicemail, but something made me answer. "Mr. Fletcher, this is Amanda Reyes from the Grandview Hotel. We need to discuss a missing item from our lobby," the woman said professionally. I was confused. "I think you have the wrong number. I've never stayed at your hotel," I replied. "Sir, our records show someone used your credit card to check in on March 14th. During their stay, a valuable decorative piece was taken from our lobby. We need to arrange return and discuss restitution," she explained. "Ma'am, I'm a corporate attorney. I've never stolen anything in my life. You definitely have the wrong person," I insisted. "We have you on camera, sir," she said with absolute certainty. Those 6 words detonated my life. What? I stared at my phone for 10 seconds after Amanda Reyes spoke those words. "We have you on camera, sir." The confidence in her voice, the certainty, it didn't match my reality. I'd never been to the Grandview Hotel. I'd never stolen anything. I sure as hell hadn't checked in anywhere on March 14th. "Ms. Reyes," I said, switching to my courtroom voice, "I need you to listen carefully. I was not at your hotel on March 14th. I was not on your premises. I did not steal anything. Check your footage again." "Sir, I'm looking at it right now. The person who checked in with your credit card," she began. "Wait," I interrupted, my brain finally catching up. "My credit card? Which card?" "A Visa ending in 4387, she answered. My stomach dropped. That was my emergency card. The one I gave Simone for true emergencies only, groceries when she forgot her purse, car repairs, medical bills, not hotel rooms. "Ms. Reyes, I need to see this footage. Now," I demanded. "Sir, I can't just," she started to protest. "I'm an attorney, Owen Fletcher, Greystone and Associates. If someone committed fraud with my credit card, I need evidence for criminal and civil proceedings. Email me everything, timestamps, receipts, video files. My email is offletcher@greystonelaw.com, I stated firmly. There was a pause. "I'll need to speak with my manager," she replied hesitantly. "Do that, but I'm telling you right now, whoever is on that footage, it isn't me," I said before ending the call. I sat in my office staring at my computer screen, seeing nothing. March 14th. I pulled up my calendar. Depositions in the Ben case from 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. Lunch brought in. Didn't leave the building until after 8. My keycard logs would prove it. My phone buzzed. Email from Amanda Reyes. Subject line: security footage March 14 incident. I downloaded the file with shaking hands. The video player opened. Timestamp showed 2:47 p.m. A woman in designer sunglasses approached the check-in desk. Brown hair, expensive handbag, confident walk. My throat constricted. "Simone." She handed over a credit card, my credit card, while talking to a man beside her. Scruffy guy, mid-30s, camera bag slung over his shoulder. I'd never seen him before in my life. The desk clerk processed the payment, handed over a keycard. Simone and the stranger walked toward the elevators, his hand on the small of her back. I replayed the section 3 times. It was definitely Simone. Definitely my card, definitely not me. The timestamp jumped to 5:52 p.m. The elevator doors opened and Simone emerged with the stranger. Her hair was messier now, his shirt untucked. They were laughing about something, heads close together, intimate in the way you are after sharing secrets or bodily fluids. As they headed toward the exit, Simone stopped abruptly. She said something to the man, pointing toward a decorative table near the lobby seating area. On it sat an ornate ceramic vase, blue and white, maybe 18 inches tall, clearly expensive. Simone walked over, picked it up like she was examining it, then tucked it under her arm like she owned it. The stranger held the door open. They left together, Simone carrying a stolen vase like a trophy. I watched the footage 4 more times. Each viewing brought new details that made me sicker. The way she touched his arm, the way he looked at her. The casual theft at the end like an afterthought, like stealing was just part of their afternoon adventure. My wife hadn't just cheated on me. She'd used my credit card to pay for the hotel room where she met another man. Then she'd stolen property to commemorate the occasion. The audacity was breathtaking. I called Amanda Reyes back. "Ms. Reyes, this is Owen Fletcher. I've reviewed the footage." "So you remember now?" she asked. "No, ma'am. That woman is my wife, Simone Fletcher, not me. She used my credit card without authorization to commit adultery and theft. I want you to file a police report immediately. Press charges for both the theft and the fraudulent use of my credit card," I stated clearly. "Silence, sir, are you? Are you sure you want to?" she began hesitantly. "I'm positive. File the report. Press charges. I'll provide my work alibi showing I was nowhere near your hotel that day," I replied without hesitation. This is really between you and your wife," she tried to argue. "No, Ms. Reyes, this is theft. This is fraud. File the report or I'll have my attorney contact your legal department about your failure to properly report crimes committed on your property," I said firmly. She agreed to file the police report. Next call Julia Brennan, family law attorney. I'd used her for a client's divorce 2 years ago. She was sharp, ruthless, and expensive. "Julia, it's Owen Fletcher. I need divorce papers drafted immediately. I have video proof of adultery. We have a prenup. I want her destroyed," I said without preamble. "Owen, what happened?" she asked, clearly surprised. I gave her the basics: hotel footage, theft, adultery, credit card fraud. "Jesus, Owen, how long has this been going on?" she asked. "I don't know, I just found out today. How fast can you move on this?" I replied. "With video evidence of adultery and a solid prenup, I can have papers ready by tomorrow afternoon." "But Owen, are you sure you don't want to?" she began. "No counseling, no second chances. She used my money to cheat on me, then stole property like a souvenir. I want her out of my life completely," I interrupted. "Consider it done," she said with finality. I didn't sleep that night. I didn't rage or break anything or drink myself stupid. I just sat at my kitchen table, watching that hotel footage on my laptop over and over. Each viewing sharpened my focus, hardened my resolve. Simone had made her choice. Now I was going to make mine. I was going to dismantle her life piece by piece, legally and completely. And I was going to start tomorrow morning. I worked from home the next morning. Called in sick to the office. The first time I'd used a sick day in 3 years. I needed to be here when Simone left for her daily routine of spending money she hadn't earned. At 9:30 a.m., she emerged from the bedroom dressed for shopping. Designer jeans, silk blouse, jewelry that cost more than most people's rent. She kissed me goodbye, actually kissed me, with the same lips that had been on a stranger the day before. "I'm meeting Sarah for lunch, then hitting a few stores. Need anything while I'm out?" she asked cheerfully. Sarah, her college roommate who lived in Portland. Simone hadn't seen Sarah in 2 years. "No, baby, drive safe," I replied, forcing a smile. She grabbed her purse and left, humming some song I didn't recognize. The ease of it staggered me. The casual deception, the complete lack of guilt or conscience. She was either a sociopath or she thought I was an idiot. Maybe both. I spent the morning coordinating with Julia Brennan. She had the divorce papers ready by noon, 15 pages of legal precision that would strip Simone of everything she thought she was entitled to. The prenup was airtight. Julia had reviewed it twice. "Owen, this is actually one of the better prenups I've seen. Whoever drafted it knew what they were doing," she said with professional admiration. "I drafted it. I told you I'm a planner," I replied. "Well, your planning is about to pay off. With video evidence of adultery, she has no claim to marital property, no spousal support, nothing. She gets her personal belongings and whatever debt she brought to the marriage," she explained. "Which was $23,000 in student loans," I added. "Ouch, she's going to have a rough landing," Julia observed. I also spent time gathering evidence. Called Greystone's security department and had them pull my keycard logs for March 14th in the building from 8:47 a.m. to 8:23 p.m. No gaps, no question about my whereabouts. Downloaded bank statements showing Simone's spending patterns. In the last 6 months alone, $3,200 at Nordstrom, $1,800 at spas, $900 on jewelry, $1,400 on handbags. all on my dime while she pursued her creativity. At 4 p.m., Simone returned home, shopping bags from boutiques that charged more for a scarf than most people spent on groceries. She was smiling, carefree, setting her bags down in the foyer like she owned the world. "Hey babe, how was your day? Feeling better?" she asked with genuine concern. I was sitting at the kitchen table, laptop open, showing the hotel footage paused at the exact moment Simone handed over my credit card. Envelope containing divorce papers positioned precisely in front of me. "Interesting day, actually. Sit down, Simone," I said calmly. Her smile faltered slightly. Something in my tone, maybe, or the formal use of her full name instead of the usual baby or honey. "What's wrong? You look serious," she said, slowly taking a seat. I slid the envelope across the table. "Open it." She picked up the envelope with manicured fingers, nails I'd paid for, and tore it open slowly. Her eyes scanned the first page, petition for dissolution of marriage. The color drained from her face. "What is this?" she whispered. I didn't answer. Instead, I turned the laptop toward her and pressed play. Simone watched herself check into the Grandview Hotel with a stranger. Watched herself use my credit card to pay for the room where she betrayed our marriage. Watched herself steal the vase like some kind of twisted memento. She tried to speak. No sound came out. Tried again. "Oh, and it's not, this isn't," she stammered. "It's exactly what it looks like," I said, my voice calm and surgical. "You cheated on me. You used my credit card to pay for it. Then you stole from the hotel like it was a souvenir." Her hands were shaking now, tears starting to form. The performance was beginning. It was an impulse, a mistake. It didn't mean anything," she pleaded. "You f***ed another man in a hotel room I paid for. You committed theft. And you think it was an impulse is some kind of defense?" I replied coldly. The tears came harder now. "Owen, please, we can work through this. We can go to counseling," she begged. I slid a second document across the table. The prenuptial agreement she'd signed 5 years ago. "Remember this? Section 4, subsection C, proven adultery by either party voids all claims to marital property for the offending spouse. You signed it. You agreed to it. Now you get to live with it," I stated matter-of-factly. Simone stared at the prenup like it was written in a foreign language. You can't just throw away 5 years of marriage over one mistake," she protested. "One mistake?" I almost laughed. "Simone, you've been spending the last 4 years like a trust fund kid while I work 60-hour weeks. You've contributed nothing, no income, no finished art, no household management, nothing. And your idea of gratitude was to sleep with a stranger and steal a vase." She was sobbing now, mascara running down her cheeks. "How long have you known? How long have you been planning this?" she asked desperately. "I found out yesterday. I've been planning for about 18 hours, I answered honestly. "You could have talked to me first, given me a chance to explain," she tried. "Explain what? That you're a cheating thief. I watched the footage, Simone. You didn't trip and fall onto another man's lap. You planned it. You executed it. You celebrated it by stealing," I replied harshly. She tried a different approach, anger. "You know what? Maybe I did cheat. Maybe I needed something you couldn't give me. You work all the time. You never pay attention to me anymore. When's the last time we went on a real date?" she shot back defensively. "When's the last time you paid for anything? When's the last time you contributed to this relationship beyond spending my money and demanding my attention?" I countered. The anger collapsed back into tears. "Please, Owen, don't do this to me. I love you. It was just a moment of weakness," she sobbed. "You love me?" I leaned forward. "Simone, you used my credit card to pay for cheating on me. That's not love, that's contempt." She was begging now, grabbing at my hands across the table. "We can fix this. I'll go to therapy, I'll get a job, I'll do anything," she pleaded desperately. I pulled my hands away. "You're right, you will get a job, because as of right now you're cut off from all our accounts. Your cards are canceled, and you have until tonight to pack your things and get out of my house." "Your house, this is our house," she protested. "Check the prenup again. Section 2, the property at 847 Maple Ridge Drive, purchased by Owen Fletcher prior to marriage, shall remain separate property. Your name isn't on the deed, Simone. It never was," I explained calmly. She stared at me like she was seeing me for the first time. "How can you be so cold? How can you just destroy everything?" she asked in disbelief. I looked at her crying face and felt nothing. No anger, no sadness, no regret. Just a cold satisfaction that the problem was finally being solved. "Pack your things," I said firmly. "You have until tonight. After that, I'm changing the locks." What? Simone spent that night packing like her life was ending. In a way, it was. She moved through the house sobbing, throwing clothes into suitcases, wrapping picture frames in newspaper. Every few minutes she'd try another angle, pleading, threatening, bargaining. "What about my pottery wheel, my art supplies?" she asked desperately. "What about them? You never used them," I replied flatly. "Owen, please. Be reasonable. I can't just start over with nothing," she pleaded. "You should have thought about that before you met a stranger with my credit card," I answered without emotion. She tried calling someone named Damien 6 times. I assumed that was the scruffy guy from the hotel footage. He didn't answer. By midnight, she was loading her Honda Accord with everything she could fit, which wasn't much. 5 years of marriage reduced to 4 suitcases and a garbage bag full of toiletries. Her parents arrived the next morning to collect the larger items. Her father wouldn't look at me. Her mother was crying. They'd clearly heard the whole story. "This is vindictive, Owen," her mother said as movers loaded furniture into a truck. "She made a mistake, but this is cruel. Mrs. Laurent, your daughter used my money to cheat on me, then stole property to celebrate. Would you prefer I handle this outside the legal system?" I replied calmly. That shut her up. 2 days later, Detective Maria Santos called me at work. "Mr. Fletcher, we have Simone Fletcher in custody for theft and credit card fraud. She's requesting to speak with you," the detective informed me. "I have nothing to say to her. Press charges, full extent of the law," I replied without hesitation. "Sir, it might be easier if you could work this out privately," she suggested. "Detective, my wife stole property and used my credit card to commit adultery. If those aren't crimes worth prosecuting, what is?" I asked pointedly. 3 hours later, Simone was arrested at her parents' house. The local newspaper's crime blotter published her mugshot. Simone Fletcher, 32, charged with theft over $500 and credit card fraud. Her social media mentions exploded overnight. High school friends, college acquaintances, gallery colleagues, everyone saw it. The comments were brutal. "Holy shit, Simone Fletcher got arrested for stealing. What happened to her? Didn't she marry that lawyer guy? Guess money wasn't enough. My cousin worked with her at that gallery, said she was always entitled. Karma's a bitch." Her public defender was a kid fresh out of law school who looked terrified when he called me. "Mr. Fletcher, I represent your wife, your ex-wife. We'd like to discuss a plea arrangement," he said nervously. "Talk to the prosecutor. I'm not interested in deals," I replied curtly. "Sir, the evidence against her is substantial. The hotel footage is damning, but if she could make restitution," he tried. "The hotel will get their money back regardless. File charges or don't. That's between you and the state," I answered dismissively. Julia Brennan presented the prosecution with a gift-wrapped case. The hotel footage showing clear theft. Credit card statements proving unauthorized use. My work alibi eliminating any possibility I was involved. Testimony from hotel staff confirming the vase's value at $1,200. Simone's attorney advised her to take the plea deal. Guilty to theft. Dismissed fraud charge in exchange for 6 months probation, 100 hours community service, and $2,500 restitution to the Grandview Hotel. She took it, she had no choice. Meanwhile, the divorce proceeded with surgical efficiency. Simone's attorney, a different lawyer she somehow scraped together money for, tried everything. They argued she deserved compensation for domestic contributions. Julia Brennan responded with bank statements showing Simone spending Vase's contribution over 4 years, negative $47,000. They claimed the prenup was signed under duress. Julia produced emails from Simone's attorney during our engagement, confirming she'd reviewed the agreement thoroughly and recommended signing. They argued adultery was too harsh a standard. Julia submitted the hotel footage, credit card statements, and the criminal conviction for theft. The judge barely needed 10 minutes to decide. Owen Fletcher retained all separate property, all marital assets, all retirement accounts. Simone Fletcher received her personal belongings, her car, on which she still owed $12,000 and nothing else. "But Your Honor," Simone's attorney protested, 5 years of marriage should entitle my client to some compensation. Counselor, the judge interrupted, your client committed adultery and theft. The prenuptial agreement is clear about consequences. Case closed. I walked out of that courtroom feeling lighter than I had in years. Damian Cross, I'd hired a private investigator to identify him, had ghosted Simone the moment news of her arrest broke, blocked her number, deleted his social media profiles, vanished like smoke. Turned out he was a freelance photographer who'd been living with his ex-girlfriend when he met Simone at some art event. The ex-girlfriend kicked him out when she found out about the hotel incident. Last anyone heard, Damian was bartending in Asheville, North Carolina, probably looking for his next victim. Simone moved back in with her parents in their cramped 2-bedroom apartment. Her father called me. One evening about a month after the divorce was finalized. Owen, I want to apologize. We raised Simone better than this. Mary and I are ashamed of what she did, he said with genuine remorse. I appreciate that, Mr. Laurent, but what's done is done, I replied. She's seeing a therapist, trying to figure out what went wrong, he informed me. Good for her, she'll need all the help she can get, I answered. Are you doing okay? He asked with surprising concern. The question surprised me. I'm fine, sir, better than fine, actually, I replied honestly. Good, that's good. You deserved better than what she gave you, he said sadly. He was right, I did deserve better. The day the divorce was finalized, I didn't celebrate, I didn't feel victorious. I just felt free, and that was enough. 3 months after the divorce, I'm standing in my new downtown condo, looking out floor-to-ceiling windows at the city lights below. 32nd floor, 2 bedrooms, 2 baths, granite countertops, and a mortgage I can easily afford on my junior partner salary. Yes, I made junior partner 6 weeks ago. The senior partners noticed my focus had sharpened considerably after the divorce. More billable hours, more client wins, more precision. Funny how much mental energy you reclaim when you're not subsidizing someone else's fantasy life. I sold the house on Maple Ridge. Too many memories of a marriage that was dead long before I found that hotel footage. The realtor got me 15% over asking price in this market. Every room in this condo is mine, clean, organized, purposeful. No pottery wheels gathering dust, no art supplies cluttering corners, no shopping bags from stores I can't afford. The condo has everything I need and nothing I don't. Smart home system, updated appliances, a home office where I can work late without bothering anyone, because there's no one here to bother, and that's exactly how I want it. I joined a gym, started running again for the first time since college. Reconnected with old friends Simone had systematically discouraged me from seeing. They're boring, she'd always said about anyone who wasn't part of her art world's social circle. Turns out they weren't boring at all, just practical, grounded, real. Last weekend, I flew to Boston alone to visit law school friends. Simone would have hated it. No fancy restaurants, no cultural events, just guys in their late 30s drinking beer and watching football. It was perfect. I'd forgotten what it felt like to enjoy simple pleasures without someone critiquing them. I don't date yet. Not ready. Maybe in 6 months, maybe a year. I'm rediscovering who I am when I'm not trying to fund someone else's dreams or manage someone else's disappointments. It's been liberating in ways I didn't expect. Through mutual acquaintances, I hear updates about Simone occasionally. She's working retail now at a home goods store, living with her parents, still on probation. Her social circle evaporated after the arrest, fair-weather friends who were more interested in her lifestyle than her personality. She tried reaching out once about 2 months ago. A long, rambling email about therapy and regret, and hoping we can talk someday about healing. I deleted it without responding. There's nothing left to say. The vase, that stupid, ornate vase that started everything, was returned to the Grandview Hotel after Simone paid restitution. I drive past that hotel sometimes on my way to work. I don't feel anger anymore when I see it. Just a distant gratitude that the betrayal revealed itself so clearly, so undeniably, with such perfect legal precision. Some men spend years in denial, making excuses, accepting less than they deserve. I spent exactly 10 minutes watching security footage and knew exactly what I had to do. No second guessing, no false hope, no wasted time on couples therapy or attempted reconciliation. The prenup wasn't about lacking faith in Simone when I wrote it. It was about respecting reality. People change. Circumstances change. Love doesn't conquer entitlement, betrayal, or contempt, but preparation does. Tonight, I'm reviewing acquisition documents for a client, listening to jazz, drinking scotch I actually like instead of wine Simone preferred. Tomorrow, I'll work out, meet friends for dinner, maybe catch a movie. Next week, I'm flying to Chicago for a conference, staying an extra day just to explore the city. Simple pleasures, personal choices, financial security, complete autonomy over my time, my space, my decisions. I built this life alone when I was 25. Career, house, savings, stability. I lost it to someone who didn't deserve it, who took everything I offered and demanded more, who repaid my generosity with betrayal and theft. Now I'm building it again, smarter, stronger, and completely on my own terms. I'm 38 years old, junior partner at a prestigious firm, financially secure, emotionally healing, professionally thriving, and for T. He first time in 5 years, I'm exactly where I want to be. Sometimes betrayal is a gift. It shows you exactly who someone really is and exactly who you need to be. The city lights stretch out below me like possibilities, infinite, bright, and all mine.